Welcome everyone to the Retro Revival virtual event, presented by TAFE New South Wales students. My name is Amelia Fox and I'm from Avoca Beach. Before we start, I would like to tell you about our course, Events and Virtual Experiences. Our course is one of 20 new TAFE New South Wales schools Launchpad courses. In 2020, most industries experienced enormous challenges as a result of their pandemic. We had border closures, lockdowns, isolation rules, and safety and hygiene protocols. Everyone was impacted, and it was a time of immense change. In April 2020, Business Events Council of Australia reported $35 billion would be lost from the Australian economy in the coming 12 months. 96% of the business events were to be cancelled or postponed, and 72,000 workers would lose their jobs. The events industry needed to adapt to virtual events to survive. TAFE New South Wales Schools Launchpad courses were a government initiative developed in consultation with industry. New skills were acquired for many industries. Our course, Certificate 3 in Events and Virtual Experiences, combines event management and film and television skills. Today, we showcase those skills as we present the Retro Revival virtual event.
I acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people as the traditional custodians of the land, sea and mountains. I pay respects to elders past, present and those of the future. I am a Kamilaroi and Wiradjuri woman currently standing on Dharawal country.
Hi, my name's Grace and I would like to acknowledge the Wiradjuri people who are the traditional custodians of this land and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging.
I'd like to pay respect to the traditional custodians on the land on which we meet today, the Bundjalung Nation, and their connection to the land, sea and community. We pay respect to the elders both past, present and emerging, and any Torres Strait Islander or Aboriginal people present today.
I would like to acknowledge the Tagagal people of the Dawes Nation. I stand today in Tingabi, which is named based upon the Aboriginal word meaning meeting of the waters.
I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present, and extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people who are here today. I stand on Wiradjuri land, Orange, New South Wales.
I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Darug people, and pay my respect to elders both past and present.
I would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which I stand today, the Darkinjung and Awabakal people, and their connection to the land, sea and their community. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging, and any Torres Strait Islander or Aboriginal people present today.
Welcome everyone, my name is Emin.
And my name is Louise, and we're presenting today from the St Leonard's Film and Television Studio on the lands of the Kotsireas people.
Thank you to the event students who did an acknowledgement of country from the many lands across the state.
Today's event will showcase retro trends. Georgia has a cool story from her favourite vintage fashion shop in Byron called Miss Brown, and Emin will go back to the 70s and take us on a retro technology and gaming journey.
Louise will showcase retro diners and drive-in cinemas, and Jade is presenting on retro music and film trends. So let's go back in time.
And let's have fun.
And let's bring retro trends back to life.
I would like to pay respects to the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Bundjalung Nation, and pay forward those respects to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people present today.
I love vintage because nowadays every piece is unique and it's really cool when you find something new. It's cool. I have this like corduroy khaki green overalls, and it's got like branding on the sides and like these red little details, which is super cute. Vintage it's always going to make a comeback because like time's always progressing, and like people in the modern day always want to know like what people wore before them, and if there's cool trends that like resurface, people just jump on it. Like it's so cool. I think shopping vintage is sustainable in every way, like every single way possible. It's like reusing, people dismantle pieces and like reattach them and like sew their own stuff, and even just like going off shopping or vintage shopping, like just reuse what's already there. So yes.
That was amazing, Georgia. Thank you for your presentation. What about you, Louise? Do you own any vintage clothes?
Yes, I do. I own a vintage denim jacket that I wear all the time. I think it's so important to recycle clothes. What do you think, Emin?
I definitely agree. It's the first step to reduce carbon emissions. Don't forget, Louise, reduce, reuse and recycle.
That's right. Next up, we take you on a retro technology and gaming journey, venturing back to the 70s and presented by my co-host, Emin.
I would like to pay respect.
Hi, I'm Emin, and today I'm going to showcase to you retro tech and games. So let's take a trip down memory lane. The Atari 2600, also known as the Atari Video Computer System, was a home video game console released by Atari in 1977. It was the first successful home console and popularized classic games such as Space Invaders, Pitfall, and Pac-Man. The Atari 2600 used cartridges for game storage and held a large library of games. Despite facing competition from newer consoles, the Atari 2600 remained popular for many years and is considered an important part of gaming history. The original Sony Walkman was a portable cassette player released in 1979. It was the first device of its kind, allowing people to listen to their music on the go with a lightweight and portable design. The Walkman became an instant cultural phenomenon with its sleek design and high-quality audio. It was a significant success, selling over 200 million units worldwide and paving the way for future portable audio devices such as the iPod. The Walkman had a major impact on the way people consumed and interacted with music, influenced popular culture, and transformed the music industry. Pac-Man is a classic arcade game created by Japanese designer Toru Itawani and released by Namco in 1980. It quickly became the most popular game to play in the 80s, introducing characters and introducing maze gameplay. Pac-Man became the highest grossing arcade game of all time and spawned numerous sequels and merchandise. It also influenced popular culture, appearing in movies, TV shows, and music. Pac-Man's impact on the gaming industry was significant, introducing a new style of gameplay and paving the way for future arcade and home console games. The Nintendo Entertainment System was a home video game console released by Nintendo in 1985. It was the first console in the NES lineup and revived the home console market. The NES created many classic franchises such as Super Smash Bros. And The Legends of Zelda. It used cartridges for game storage and introduced many new gameplay machines such as the scrolling levels and power-ups. The NES is considered one of the most influential consoles of all time and helped establish Nintendo as a major player in the gaming industry. The original PlayStation, also known as the PlayStation 1, was a home video game console released by Sony in 1994. It was the first console in the PlayStation lineup and competed against the likes of the Nintendo 64 and Sega Saturn. The PS1 was a significant success, selling over 100 million units worldwide and popularizing franchises such as Final Fantasy, Metal Gear Solid, and Gran Turismo. It used CDs instead of cartridges for game storage, which allowed for larger and more complex games. The PS1 also had a significant impact on the gaming industry, paving the way for future consoles and changing the way people viewed video games. The original iPhone was a revolutionary smartphone released by Apple in 2007. It introduced features such as touchscreen interface, mobile web browser, and a built-in music player. The iPhone's sleek design and user-friendly interface made it a massive success, transforming the mobile phone industry and establishing Apple as a major player in the tech industry. The iPhone's significance lies in its ability to merge various technologies into a single device, paving the way for future smartphones and influencing the way people communicate and interact with technology. Back to the studio.
Thanks so much for that wonderful presentation, Emin. May I ask, what is your favourite retro game to play?
My favourite game to play is Snake. I used to play it all the time on the old Nokia phones. Speaking of old, let's take a look at retro diners and drive-ins.
Hi, I'm Louise, and today I'm going to showcase diners and drive-ins across the decades. Diners became popular in the 50s in America. They were a meeting point for young people, a place to connect with friends, listen to music, and enjoy hamburgers and milkshakes. The decor of diners was bright, mostly red and white in the 50s, lots of chrome and Laminex tables, swivel bar stools, and black and white check floors. Every diner had a jukebox, where people could select their favourite tune and dance, just as we saw in the movie Grease when Sandy and Danny had their favourite moment. In the 60s and 70s, the decor changed to more neutral colours, browns, mustards and teals, and wooden furniture replaced the shiny chrome of the 50s. In the 80s and 90s, diners had to compete with the new restaurant trends like Pizza Hut, McDonald's, Hard Rock Cafe and Sizzler. In the last 10 years, we have seen a return to the retro diners. People are keen to experience places like Betty's Burgers, the Shoal Bay Diner and Big Daddy's Burger Bar to relive the innocence of the 50s. Let's have a look now at drive-ins. The retro trend of attending a drive-in is popular with all ages, giving people the opportunity to experience what it would have been like to go in a drive-in.
Thanks, Louise, that was interesting. Have you ever been to the drive-in at Blacktown?
Yes, I have. I usually go with my friends. It's so much better than a traditional cinema. It's heaps more fun. Speaking of fun, let's take a look at retro music and films.
Retro music. Slides brought to you by Jade Nyla Brown. What is retro music? Let's take a look at music inspired by the 70s and 80s, as well as some of the most well-known movies from both the 70s and 80s and from our time.
Songs such as Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, Physical by Olivia Newton-John, and Kung Fu Fighting by Kyle Douglas helped to inspire the retro songs made today. Some artists inspired by retro music include Dua Lipa with her album Future Nostalgia, The Weeknd with his album After Hours, Harry Styles with his song Watermelon Sugar, and BTS with their song Dynamite.
Now let's move on to movies. The Star Wars franchise is one of the most well-known movie collections out there, with 8 different movies and a larger collection of TV shows. Star Wars has changed the world of film. Movies such as Alien and Independence Day were inspired by Star Wars. Some of the most well-known themes come from the Star Wars movies, with the Imperial March being one of the most famous.
Now moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Galaxy is a recent movie of our times. However, the soundtrack within the film includes songs and artists from the 80s. Songs such as Hooks on a Feeling by Blue Suede and Go All the Way by the Raspberries.
Moving on to one of the most iconic movies of our time, Top Gun. Top Gun was the movie of all ages and well known for its action-packed themes, with one of the most well-known songs, Danger Zone, by Kenny Loggins being one of the best-selling soundtracks of 1986. We would like to thank Jade for putting together this presentation, as she was unfortunately unable to make it today.
So guys, what are some of your favourite songs from the 70s and 80s? Drop it in the chat.
Back to the studio. Okay guys, let's do a poll. We would like everyone to select their favourite movie. You can participate by clicking on the poll icon in the Teams chat. What is your favourite retro movie, Louise?
I love Grease, with Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta. I love the scene where they sing, You're the One That I Want. It's definitely a highlight for me. Danny arrives in a varsity jacket and Sandy transforms from wearing a pretty skirt and sneakers to tight black pants, high heels and red music. Danny is gobsmacked. Did you see Grease, Emin?
I did, but my favourite movie was the original Star Wars.
Let's check the responses, Emin. Do we have a result? Yep.
Yep.
Perfect.
So, the results are in. Top Gun was actually voted the most liked movie. Yeah.
Well, we've come to the end. Thank you for everyone for joining us. We are so grateful for the opportunity to showcase retro trends and the skills we have learned during our studies in events and virtual experiences.
Have a great weekend, everyone.